right, and welcome to Fastbreak Brekfast, NBA podcast. My name is Keith, and I'm here once again with my buddy through the miracle of computer phone, here with Dave DeFore. Dave to 48 minutes. Dave, the Olympics are on. How's it going?
The Olympics are going well, I think.
Are they?
I don't
How's
know.
our medal count?
I have no clue.
It's really high.
I think we were second.
Not for
Last
golds.
time I saw. Yeah.
We're clearly first on total. Have they not come
we
to
have
some
more money
form
than everyone.
of agreement on like a scoring system? Like it should
There
be.
is no overall winner. That's just something that I think the Americans came up with as a way to say we were beating everyone at something else.
I think it was us and Russia. I think we can blame.
It was
the
a
Cold War
War
is why we're fighting over the number of medals.
It's a
And now
Gold
there's all
War.
these informal, like Australia versus the United States swimming gold medals comes down to this. I do think it would be fun. Not that we need to have a winner. It's all about the spirit of peace and worldwide community, hopefully.
Yeah.
But some kind of accepted among the fan bases, which is the world, scoring system, like a gold medal's worth X number of points. Should it be like a five for gold, 2 for silver, 1 for bronze? Or is that just counting second and third way too much? Should it be just like a 3-2-1, 3 for gold,
Should
2
it be
for...
a sliding scale though? Because, like, for instance, degree of difficulty.
Oh.
Okay.
Based on the number of
men's
entrants?
basketball team. No. U.S. men's basketball team winning a gold medal shouldn't count for that many points.
Well, that
They
doesn't make
should
any
win the
sense. That's like saying when Michael Phelps won, it wasn't.
Well, wait
that...
a second. Listen,
Were people
you can
close to
go
Phelps?
out
I don't
in
even remember.
gymnastics and you can just do cartwheels and regular backflips, and maybe you can get you can do that perfectly. But the score is about degree of difficulty.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't this be degree of difficulty?
But I don't know how you would assign the degree of difficulty. Are you basing it on, you said for
On
Team USA
favorites?
basketball,
Yeah.
you're basing it on the ability of the people competing.
Yeah.
That would be like saying all of Simone Biles's gold medals count for less.
Well, but
because she's way more skilled than everybody else.
But she didn't win the gold in the all around. So I think that's a little bit more even. Individual sports a little bit more even
I don't know.
than men's basketball.
I didn't get an answer, by the way, on why in the basketball portion of the tournament, when it came to the standings and group play, a win was worth 2 points and a loss was worth 1 point. Still makes no sense to me.
Doesn't make any sense.
Anyways, the Olympics are on.
Participation trophy.
Yeah, well, I guess. I mean, you get a point if you lose, but then what good is that? We got a lot of basketball, I guess, to talk about. There was a really fun day. I mean, Tuesday was 4 quarterfinal games, every one of them featuring numerous NBA players. So it was a lot of fun to watch. I did not watch the Greece-Germany game. Someone in my Slack, they might have been German, spoiled it for me right when I woke up. I made the mistake of looking in the Slack. There's the end right there. I did love, Australia, Serbia. Incredible.
Excellent game.
One of the most enjoyable games. Not, I guess, if you're an Australian fan, but it was.
It hit a lot of really good beats too.
It hit so many great beats.
Big comeback for Serbia. You had a huge Jokic game.
Yeah.
Patty Mills hits a huge shot, does a bunch of stuff. Josh Giddey was awful and shooting too much, and everyone.
Well, he was
felt
good
it
until he
happening in
wasn't.
real time. Exactly. It's very it hit all these beats that we're used to.
Well, Dave, speaking of the beats, and we'll get into it a little bit more after our breakfast. Like, speaking of hitting all the beats, what about France's win over Canada? We had just all of these. Oh my goodness, Gobert didn't play and they were better. Dylan Brooks won't stop shooting in an elimination game. Like, it was
looking off Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Everything was perfect for the podcasters in your life. So yeah, we'll talk about all that. But before we do, Dave, of course, we'd hit our breakfast. Have you had a breakfast?
I just did a protein shake.
Okay.
And I did a glass of the Fairlife milk after. Kind of insane. But 43 grams of protein total. Not bad.
There you go. What's is this pre or post workout? What's your first thing?
Oh, that's just in the morning.
That's just in the morning.
So I haven't worked out yet.
You haven't done anything yet. Okay. I
No, I'm going to try to eat a lot before I get to the gym.
There you go. I had some tacos from this place kind of near my house, also near my kids' school. I was famished. I mean, one, school started this week for my kids. It's pretty early in the national calendar. But
I feel like they just got out of school.
Well, so our kids got out actually the week before Memorial Day. So they've been out. Like we've been out. But they're back in school.
Kids go to school too much.
My life this week is very calm. I was able to watch all the Olympics basketball without interruption, basically. But today, kids are in there, and I'm taking my car into the shop, getting some stuff done before like more of my work kicks up. I actually was really happy. I took it to the dealer. I've been having these issues with just like recall stuff, just nonstop recalls. It's a Hyundai. Not the biggest fan of this Hyundai Elantra. I bought it like 12 years ago because Consumer Reports was like,
yeah,
you're never going to believe how good this Hyundai is.
And we predicted 100,000 mile warranty.
Yeah, we predicted to have excellent reliability. It hasn't been the most reliable car. But here's the thing. They keep having recalls. And I don't know if that's good or bad. They're like, hey, you have a recall for this thing. It's a thing I never heard of. And then it'll be like, the parts aren't here. We're going to order the parts. They might come in 2 years. And then, so I just keep taking it in. I took it in for one recall, and there's like this airbag light, and they're like, oh yeah, all our airbag lights are coming on. We don't know why. But they're like, we'll fix it. It's extended warranty. I'm like, okay, cool. So they were supposed to fix my airbag light the last time I took it in, which was like 2 months ago. They did not fix the light. Shades of the famous, you did not patch my tire episode of Fastbreak Brekfast. But they didn't fix the light. And then also this car has all these steering wheel like buttons, like your cruise control. It also has your volume for your podcasts when you listen to them. It has like, a handless call, but it has all these buttons. And when they went back in to get the airbag light to go off, they somehow disconnected all the buttons on the steering wheel.
Awesome.
So I was like, now none of these buttons work. Not a huge deal. I just have to manually adjust the sound of Danny LaRue's voice. I have to, I can't just do it with my thumb on the steering wheel. I got to reach over to the dial on the center console.
Well, wait, does your radio still has a dial though?
It does still have a dial.
There you go.
So I take it in today, and I'm expecting, I have an 8:30 appointment. I'm like, this can take forever. It always takes like 4 hours. And I'm like, I'm planning to podcast with Dave, but should I just leave it here and come back? Also, they're going to not believe me when I say this stuff doesn't work. Cause I was like, hey, you disconnected something. So I was like, I was prepared to go to battle, customer service battle mode. It was delightful. They fixed everything. The airbag lights off. The steering wheel works fine. Didn't cost any money. It was like 90 minutes total. I was like, this is one of the best dealer experiences I've ever had. So, but all that.
There you go.
I hadn't had a breakfast, and I had some coffee. I'm also getting up early, for like the second time in the last 3 months because my kids had to go to school. So like I took them to school, then went to the dealer, then like 11 a.m.'s rolling around. But honestly, 11 a.m. when I wake up at 7, that's very much lunchtime because I've been waking up like 8:30 most of the summer. So I was starving, and so I went and got these tacos from this place.
Breakfast tacos or regular tacos?
They were breakfast tacos. One was eggs, bacon with a little bit of cheese. I put some creamy jalapeno sauce on that, and then the other one was a spicy chorizo with egg. I love them. It was very good. So yeah, I feel like I've had now. I mean, basically that was my lunch too. Now I'm not gonna eat again till dinner. But that's what I had.
Not bad.
Yeah, I will say before we get to the breakfast and bed apologies, before we get to the basketball, the last week of school or last week of summer for my kids, we were like knocking out things we want to do, and I was like, "What didn't we do this summer that you really want to do?" And they were like, "Well, we haven't seen Despicable Me 4 yet."
Oh no!
so I think it was Friday. Yeah, last Friday, I took him to Despicable Me 4. Dave, it was not good, but who cares?
Do you guys go to a lot of movies?
We went to a 9 a.m. movie, which that seems fair. I wanted to get
movies this weekend.
I wanted to get it over with, but my thinking was, well, I bet a 9 a.m. movie's like cheap. Like back in the day, it was matinee. Like matinee prices were a thing.
Nah.
American dollars, me and 2 children, child's ticket. It's $53 to see a 9 a.m. movie.
It's insane.
I was like, this is really expensive.
This is insane. What are we doing?
Well, I was like, am I doing this wrong? Because I went to Fandango and there's all these fees. And I'm like, I'll just go to the movie theater's website. I'll cut out Fandango. And the movie theater's website was like, would you like to purchase your tickets through Fandango?
Fandango.
I was like, I guess maybe I'll go to the theater.
Ticketmaster, man. This is it's like, a disaster.
But that blew my mind. I was like, I thought a 9 a.m. movie would be like, again, dumb me. How much could a banana cost, Michael? I was like, probably it's like $8, $9. It's like, it's $16 for a kid's ticket at 9 a.m. There was 8 people in there. I mean, I don't get it. I also felt bad because like
I used to love the movies, man. I used to love the movies.
I went and saw The Fugitive, which celebrated its release like a few days ago. Whatever, is it 35 years, maybe 30 years? I saw that movie it was $1 because I saw it at noon. I walked from my house to the movie theater. Yeah, I think it was like $1, $1.50. Yeah.
I went and saw Deadpool.
You saw Deadpool?
Yeah, I went and saw it Sunday morning.
Okay.
11 a.m. Sunday morning, full price.
But did you get like a 4DX or something? Was it
no,
3D?
Regular,
did your seat shake?
No, regular theater, man.
Did Ryan Reynolds like tickle your back during? No,
nope,
nothing.
Nope, none of that. Now I'm not like a huge concession guy. Like I know it's expensive. Now, I also haven't been in the movies in a long time. I used to go to the movies all the time.
Right.
Growing up, I went and saw 3-4 movies a week. It was one of the things I did with my best friend. Yeah. I love the movies. I no longer feel the need to go to the movies because most movies just, frankly, they're not very good.
We're old. They're not for us.
No, but I saw the first version of it.
Yeah.
I don't need the reboot. I'm good. But
Deadpool versus Wolverine was the intellectual property.
Yes.
The original intellectual property. We were like, finally.
I wanted to see. Yeah.
This is the.
No, it was more just like, let's just go do this. And did the concessions. And my girlfriend got a small popcorn.
Yep.
$10.
Yeah.
Yeah. A bottle
I'm not
of water,
shaken by that.
$7.
Bottle of water, $7 is a lot.
And a small icy for $9.
First of all, that's a lot for one person. Water, icy.
Well, the water was for me.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
You can't do an icy and a popcorn. You can't have a cheat day to go see Deadpool.
I just didn't. I mean, I just eating bacon and eggs. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, let me stuff my face full of this popcorn.
Yeah.
I just was flabbergasted by the fact that the airport prices.
I understand that
it's not just movie theater prices; it's airport prices, like jail prices.
Yeah, Tom Gore's prison phone call prices.
I was walking in. I had a large cold brew from Starbucks.
Yep.
I was walking in. I had I don't know, 4 ounces left.
Yep.
Sir, you have to pour that out. You're gonna have to get rid of that.
Oh, you gotta be more self. First of all, Dave, I'm surprised you don't do the confident
strong
walk.
No, hold on. No.
Okay.
I was just walking. No, hold on. I'm a very chill guy.
Yep.
But when I look at this guy after he says it, he knows that, what I want to do to him, and I'm just going to be nice about it. And I'm choosing to take the 4 ounces of coffee that I paid for that I would finish before I even get to the theater and throw it away. But it's a choice that I've consciously made. And he sits there slovenly on his stool enforcing some corporate oligarch's rules.
I mean, I'm surprised. What's he going to do?
No, he's not going to do anything. But
you can say no, thanks.
Yeah.
No, you can. I mean, they are the defense system of our local theaters is pretty slouching. You can carry anything you want in your pockets. They don't. Yeah,
absolutely.
You can sneak in all the hot dogs you need.
For me, it's the principle.
It's the principle.
I am going to make a scene out of you making a scene out of my little bit of coffee.
Yeah, I'm not going to
aggressively
go.
I wasn't walking into the movie theater with a burrito.
But you would. I think you would have better luck with a burrito.
Read the room. Probably. It seems like it.
They were worried. Anyway, they probably had a rash of people sneaking vodka into their Wolverine movie.
I love having fewer and fewer places to put my money, like to spend my money. And the movies, it's out. It's like
I feel bad because I love movies.
Yeah,
watch them all the time.
Love them.
But yeah, I never grew up buying concessions at the theater because I didn't have any money. So we always snuck in like atomic fireballs that we bought, in bulk. So now when I'm an adult, I still don't have the urge to buy candy. My kids, they're like, can we get something? I'm like, no, your movie ticket was $53. But then my thing is I start feeling bad for others. I'm not trying, not even that even made me sound more sympathetic, empathetic, and magnanimous than I am. I was just like, who has $53 to take their kids to see the movies all the time? I would like to, like, so it's my same thing when I talk about like going to a soccer game where I'm like, it's $80 to go to walk in the door
to do stuff, Keith. Yeah. Like I couldn't imagine what it's like to have kids.
Yeah. I know you're supposed to get those subscriptions. If you're a single dude, you're supposed to buy the AMC monthly pass. We don't have any AMCs in Nashville. But maybe Regal has a similar thing. Anyways, Dave, I got distracted.
Look, that might be the oldest of old man rant.
We rant a lot. It's the prices of everything. Anyways, Dave.
That's it. It takes out the joy.
My breakfast was like, I think 3 tacos were $9, but $9 is the price of just fast casual lunch now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no discount anywhere else. Anyways, we've done our breakfasts. Let's move to our breakfast in bed apologies. This is our chance to make right what we might have gotten wrong in a previous episode. It's frequently the first time we talk about the NBA or FIBA. I have an apology on the episode last week. I really messed up Monte Morris's nickname. He has a tremendous nickname, the Count of Monte Assist Turnover, or Assisto. I don't know how you're supposed to. First of all,
Assisto.
It's a clever nickname when you read it. When you say it, I guess you say Monte Assisto or Assistio. But again, no one knows what that means when you say it out loud. Yeah. But I left out Monty. I just said the Count of Assist. So it's just I totally botched it. So I feel bad. Again, clever nickname that's better read / looked at read in your head than it is said aloud. But I got that wrong. Also, I believe I said Tyus Jones has led the NBA in assist to turnover percentage or ratio the last 4 seasons. It's actually the last 5 seasons. Wow. So those were some critical errors, which I believe probably undermined everything we said last episode. So for that, I apologize.
No 5-star reviews.
No 0 5-star reviews. 0. Anyways, Dave, let's take a quick break and then let's come back and let's actually talk about those Olympic quarterfinals games and all the fun stuff that was contained within them. All right, Dave, which one of these quarterfinals would you like to start with? What was the most interesting game to you?
I mean, the Serbia-Australia game went into overtime.
I think definitely the most entertaining. Yeah, let's start with that one.
Yeah. I mean, it was the most entertaining game. The France game was obviously
I think more significant probably because Canada.
The Gobert stuff is interesting too.
Gobert and then the Canada stuff. Let's just talk about Australia and let's talk about the team that beat them,
Serbia,
which is Serbia.
Yes,
that game. So there was a 20-0 run in the first half. Australia got up by 24, I believe was their largest
Australia
lead.
Does this though? Australia blows leads in international basketball. I mean, if you go, I could tell you that we had a friendly against them before in Okinawa before the tournament started last year, and they had a huge lead, and we came back and we lost by a bucket, but we were able to come back. They just don't have the staying power.
Yeah,
it seems, and I think part of that is because they're relying on these older guys. Patty Mills has got to be going for them, and I mean, luckily he hits a big shot at the end to get them to overtime, but they just kind of ran out of steam, and the Giddey stuff is so hit or miss, and it was hitting, but it was all Giddey. And then it was a lot of Giddey when he wasn't hitting late. And then Jokic is the best in the world.
So it was a weird game in the fact that, Australia jumped out to that huge lead, and Giddey at times in these Olympics has just looked incredible. where he's like, oh yeah, it all works for him. And maybe it's the FIBA line being a couple feet shorter, but he's hitting threes, but he's scoring on his little floaters. And, Australia's had these good stretches, but then Serbia just kept chipping away. And it wasn't even like I don't feel like it was a good Jokic game until the final few minutes of overtime. There were so many times in this, because I'm very biased. I'm cheering for Jokic. I just adore him. And I'm cheering for him. And I'm like, there was so many shots. I felt like he was passing up shots. And then there's the whole thing about it seemed like his teammates weren't passing him the ball. Vasily Micic was shaving points at times. And then, I was talking to the Fastbreak Brekfast Patreon supporters in the Slack about Micic just killing them. And then on the broadcast, they were like, Micic hasn't subbed out in a long time. And maybe he was just exhausted. He needed a cigarette break, but he was horrible. And then I even said going into that overtime, because Jokic had passed up a couple of shots. He's not making his threes. So he was doing basically the Giddey thing, where he would pass up an open three, drive into traffic, and then get stuck. And he was then passing it late to guys, or he wasn't making his floaters. And so I had said, this has been, honestly, for me, a disappointing Jokic game, because they'd already fought back, but every time it seemed like I thought Serbia could have wrapped it up in regulation, Jokic was missing. But then in the overtime frame, Dave, Jokic had 2 steals. He picked Patty Mills's pocket twice. He had a block shot, and then he had
one off the rim.
Yeah, the one off the rim. Those don't count as blocks, but they should.
They should count as blocks, but they don't. Yeah,
because that's something where that's a ball that's going in. It would have gone in if Jokic hadn't not knocked it out. So that was 4 individual defensive stops that he made by himself. Then he hits him with the Sombor shuffle. I mean, Jokic took it over. He's the best player on the planet, and he kind of showed it there. So that was all exhilarating. But do you think, were there any other takeaways you have about Serbia and their performance? Is it going to be, they have to play US now.
Yeah.
How's that going to look?
Well, the thing is, they got really good guard play yesterday, and these sorts of tournaments, the guard, this is our overwhelming advantage on the rest of the world is our guard play, our guard and wing, obviously, guys being able to handle. We said this before, all the people talking about how Canada has Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and we've got 8 guys like that, 9. And that's our overwhelming advantage. And with Micic, he kind of gave him a little bit of that yesterday. Now, can he do it against Team USA? Probably not. We haven't seen it yet, but it's going to be hard. Playing a team 3 times in one summer, it's been 6 weeks that they've played, right?
And those first 2 matchups between Serbia and the US, they were close in the first half, and then the US ran away with it. And both of those games,
as soon as they start to run away, Serbia pulls the plug and they say, hey, we're out.
So that's what I wonder. We talked about at the time. Was this a little rope-a-dope, or they're like, all right, we lost it. Let go of the rope. Don't show anything else. I don't know, because also I think just the Serbia guards have been just way too inconsistent. Bogdanovic has been up and down. He was the last game of group play. He was outrageous. Was that Puerto Rico, I think, maybe, or South Sudan? South Sudan. He was on fire, scored in the 30s, something. He was awesome. He was not nearly as good in the game against Australia. He's had some down games. Marko Guduric has mostly been bad for Serbia. He was good against Australia, but it was a good where it was just the hustle plays. It was the effort stuff. His shot still not falling. I think he's made 1 3-pointer in the entire Olympics. And this is a guy who's supposed to be able to shoot. So I do think that US Serbia, I've been saying it for a while, if Serbia guys hit threes, we might have a game. Also, do you think they will adjust? Do you think Serbia can adjust the playing time of Jokic and be like, we're only going to sit you 2 minutes? There aren't as many stoppages in international basketball.
Right. It's harder.
Although I was watching these, the soccer, the women's soccer. So US beat Germany in the semifinal, on Tuesday, and it went into extra time. And, extra time is split into 2 15-minute segments. Mm-hmm. It's supposedly supposed to be a 1-minute break between the extra time periods, which is honestly you think about I don't know, training camp or like running suicides or basketball drills where it's like, all right, run, rest 20 seconds, go again. But like the referee and everybody, because I think it was super hot in Paris, they were like, no, it's cool. We're gonna take like 5. We're gonna like, hey, let everybody rest because they were like, maybe the referee was exhausted.
It's hot. It's hot, and there's no AC in any of the hotels either.
So I feel like they were like, listen, we're going to just, everyone, are you cool? No one cares. Let's take a little break here.
Can we segue over to track and field for a minute?
What's your track and field?
Tremendously disappointed because we didn't get to see Shelly Ann Fraser-Price race.
Okay.
And it turns out they had these ladies walking an hour walk to get to their race.
Really?
Yes. So that's like 4 miles.
Yeah.
I mean, an hour walk
a casual
before they run
warm up,
the race of their life. And so she had to back out.
The one thing that I don't know the most about international competitions and athletics, which again is a wild understatement by me. I don't know anything about any of them, but like watching some of the swimming stuff where it's like, all right, you don't have a competition on this day, but hey, dude, today you have to race 3 times and you have to race like you have one at 1 p.m. local time. Then you got to come back at 2 p.m. for this relay. And then you got to come. It's like, could they not?
Better carb up.
Can we not spread out some of these things? I don't know. Also, there's like, this was Dave. Did you watch the speed rock climbing? I actually texted you, just be like, because I know one thing I know about Dave is you like a person with some nice shoulders. And good and strong arms. And there was these ladies rock climbing, and it was speed climbing.
Yeah.
And they kind of blew my mind because I never even considered the aspect of speed climbing. They look like you remember that there was this movie with like a possessed grandma crawling on a ceiling? Like that's what it was. Where like they like race up this wall and they just have to tap the thing. They have to tap the button and then they jump off. Could they not do this event? I don't want it to be dangerous. Maybe we could put a trampoline at the bottom. I feel like the event would have been more interesting if
I've seen this event
if you're not tethered.
Yeah,
over water.
Water.
Okay.
My gym, I go to a rock climbing gym. My gym is doing, I guess they're going to do a big watch party Friday night.
Okay.
For the climbing stuff, but they don't.
I call it a climbing climax, but keep going.
Speed climbing is like that's not that I've never seen that done. Like it's not something that people like. Because it's
clearly a indoor safety sport. Because you can't practice that in a real world situation. The way they're just launching themselves up, it still was kind of weird. We're like, what's the end game? Oh, the end game is to smack a button and then fall into the abyss.
Yeah, that's it.
But I watched some of that. There seemed to be maybe a malfunction with one of the buttons. And so maybe some people, they were like, do they have to do it again? And then I'm like, well, how much effort? It seemed like a lot of effort.
It's a max effort.
Yeah. It's like a match explosion effort. And then you got to recoup for like, what, a day? I don't know.
Minimum. There's a lot of science behind it. It's similar to weightlifting. It's similar to any sort of high exertion sport like that, like football. The sprinting involved in football, like you can't do that every single day.
Oh, and now I'm seeing the science of like, it's impossible to run full speed for 400 meters because like you're just the human body can't.
Yeah, it can't do that.
It just has to stop.
Lactate. There's a thing called a lactate threshold. And you hit that pretty fast when you're sprinting.
Yeah. Jamal Murray hits it pretty fast when he sprints too.
When he's not playing with Jokic, he seems to hit it a lot, right? Team Canada. Listen, man, you remember that week last year before the World Cup when Canada was like, oh, hey, it might be the best in the world.
I'm so sad for Canada. I thought they would be tremendous. I was wrong. I mean, they look good in group play. Sure. France looked awful in group play. Canada looked good in group play. So, of course, France beats Canada wire to wire. Doesn't seem to have any issue. The Canadian side of things, before we get to like the French coaching strategy, also known as the Gobert benching. The Canadian side of things, Jamal Murray is just a mess. And I think when we saw this roster put together, we assumed a lot of it was going to be all right, Jamal's going to play alongside Shea and be the secondary scorer, and he never was. He could never score. Like Nimhard had his moments, but like, I mean, Dort was underwhelming in this game. They got whipped. Canada got whipped by like the French hustle guys. They didn't have an answer for Lasort and Yabusele.
I was worried about Canada being too small for rebounding and for defense, but they couldn't score.
They couldn't score.
That's score. Where they don't run anything.
I was confused.
Do not run anything, and they don't have the talent that Team USA has. I'm sorry, you guys are not actually an all-star team. Yeah. You know why? Kelly Olynyk is on your team. You're not an all-star team. You need an offense.
Or also you're playing Trey Lyles and Kim Birch over Kelly Olynyk. So that trade-off there where it's like they felt like they needed size and rebounding, so clearly they went with Lyles and Birch. But like they haven't been able to score that well, despite, I mean, I know they won other group play games, but I was surprised by Kelly Olynyk not playing just because like that's a floor spacer and someone who can score and no one's hitting shots. Sick. Yeah. He also a very good passer. So I was surprised he got the DMP, but then just the guys who played aren't good enough where they should have hit shots and they just didn't. I mean, no 3-pointers going in for Canada. Dylan Brooks embracing all of his worst attributes and habits. And I say this as someone with the biggest soft spot for Dylan, someone who defended Dylan, for a while. There were moments in this game where he got, there was one where he got an offensive rebound late in the game when it seemed like maybe Canada was actually going to cut into it and like make it a close basketball game. He got an offensive rebound and you could just tell, I could tell, anyone who watches Dylan Brooks closely can tell he's going to shoot this. And it was like he started dribbling and I'm like, oh no. I'm like, no, don't shoot it. Don't shoot it. And like he ends up getting stuffed by Wemby because it was a very deliberate, slow, I'm not looking at anything but the basket move. Wemby came over, easily blocked the shot. And I don't know. It's a rough look for Dylan Brooks to fulfill. Like he fulfilled the worst expectation every critic has of him by just showing no awareness on the offensive end and continuing to take bad shots.
And looking off other guys who are better shooters that are open. That's the thing that just killed me about him. And then wasn't bringing it on the defensive end. Got lit up by Evan Fournier.
I mean, I'm probably too far down the path of drinking some Dylan Kool-Aid where I'm like, at least he seemed to be a spark at times on defense. I thought Dort didn't even bring the spark he normally does in this one, but maybe it all comes down to the fact that like, you just don't have the connective big guys. Maybe it's the fact that you're missing, Andrew Wiggins and Zach Edey and Brandon Clark, all guys who could help on the glass, all guys who apparently were slightly forbidden from joining the team by their own NBA teams. But then on the France side of this, all right, Gobert plays less than 4 minutes. Victor Wembanyama was 2 out of 10 from the field. And they still win. This was it's a shocking result. I feel like when you see not just how both teams had played coming into the game, but it's a shocking result based on even looking at the box score. We're like, oh wait, they benched the NBA's Defensive Player of the Year. And Wemby hasn't been that good on offense. And so, like, what were the keys? How did France?
I mean, defensively, they were still really, really good. I mean, there's a thing here with Gobert. Number one, I don't know if he was benched. He does seem to have like a finger injury, right? So I don't know if it was a benching or if it's actually, this finger thing.
Well, Dave, their coach before the game said they were not going to start Gobert. Like that, that's they told the media before the game that, and he made it sound like a strategy decision.
Right? Okay. I know, I understand, but
maybe they were hiding
Gobert's injury. Maybe they're hiding the injury. I don't know. Right. I mean, this happens. Okay, I'm not even. It doesn't matter because it worked. Listen, France's problem was going to be their offense. This is the problem that Minnesota kind of has run into with Gobert too. The problem was going to be the offense. Gobert doesn't bring enough on that end. And then also, the ability to switch on the perimeter was now presented to them because Yabusele could move a little bit out there. He's also still big enough that he's a great rebounder. He was able to do a lot of stuff that you just can't do with a Gobert and Wemby combination. That being said, Wemby's defense was amazing.
Yeah, that's
because
good.
He just can't help it, right?
Yeah,
so you didn't really need Gobert.
Yeah.
I think that if I'm them, looking ahead to Germany, which Germany's defense held Greece to 63 points, I'm probably going to go ahead and start this lineup. I don't know if I'm going with, Lesort as the backup over Gobert. I mean, that to me tells me it was more of an injury thing than anything.
I mean, also,
unless Gobert unless there's something happening that we don't know about.
I mean, we'd be remiss not to mention the thing after the game where Gobert said he had surgery on his finger yesterday. And then France's coach is like, no, he had imaging done and treatment. He didn't have any surgery. So I don't know.
Surgery?
Gobert said surgery. But I don't know. It's not a great look for people. I mean, if you're a Gobert defender, that's tough. Where he doesn't play and they have their best win. Also, a not underrated element of this game and a not underrated element of Lesort's impact was the free throws. This guy Lesort got 14 free throws.
He was attacking.
He was attacking, but also France got 42 free throws. It was a friendly whistle, I feel like, in this one. The
big one was the other way when Jamal Murray loses the ball out of bounds after getting swatted across the arm. Now they missed that foul call, but was Dwayne Wade also in on the home cooking? Because he just said, "Oh yeah, Jamal just loses the ball out of bounds there."
Yeah, he might have been
paid off by the French.
I don't know. I've noticed this a lot in the Olympics basketball games. I noticed this the most in the 3-on-3 announcers. My question with the Olympics broadcasts, and I could probably find this answer if I tried, are all the announcers there? Are their seats bad or the views bad? There's a lot of them where I feel like in this 3-on-3 thing, the announcers weren't talking about the action I was seeing. It was like maybe it was an 8-second delay. Are they watching this from a studio in like Hartford, Connecticut or something? Like it did not feel like they were either totally familiar with the game, because I've never watched 3-on-3 competitively before outside of a little dalliance with the big three every now and then. But this, of course, has its own set of rules, and they didn't explain the rules to me, a first-time viewer. I was confused about what the free throws even counted for. And they also were talking about like the U.S. women's team lost on free throws. And I'm sitting there watching it like, I think if this person makes this free throw, the U.S. team loses. But the announcers hadn't even mentioned that. They were talking about strategy for like the next possession. And I'm like, I think the game's over if this lady makes this free throw. And it was. So I don't know. Maybe Dwayne doesn't have a good view of the things happening in the basketball games. I mean, some of the live gymnastics too. The announcers are talking about different things. Maybe they don't know what the camera is actually showing. And you're like, wait, did someone just fall? And then you're like, oh, that was a practice. I feel like they should have told me that was a practice. But anyways, yeah.
There's too much Olympics. Actually,
this is still your complaint.
There's too much Olympics.
It's fine.
I just like
it's a buffet. The good old days, it's a buffet. You pick what you want.
See, I want to.
You want Dick Ebersol to pick out the 7 things you can watch?
7 courses and 7 wines. Please just bring them to me. Give me the best stuff. I want to watch the men's and women's 100s and 200 meters track races.
So
I want to watch, that's basically it.
So Gobert, I think you could say he was benched. Maybe there's a medical health reason. I think Gobert was moved to the bench and barely played. He played a few minutes. Fournier was benched, as in moved out of the starting lineup, but Fournier still had a huge impact on this game. I've always had a soft spot for him too. So like he made these ridiculous daggers to put it away. The last one, a shot clock running down from like 38 feet or something. So now is the rematch as France advances. Canada, again, a very disappointing result to not. I mean, one, we never going to see a matchup with the U.S., but also now they're not going to medal, and they had the most NBA talent of any other team besides Team USA. So yeah, they've got some questions to answer about their national team, especially with what Jamal Murray, Dylan Brooks, the final stats, they combined to go 4 out of 22. And that's with 3 for 15 on 2-pointers. They were 3 for 15 on 2s, 1 for 7 on 3s. They combined for 3 assists and 5 turnovers. But Fournier and what's that? Cordinier? That shooter guy. Yeah, there you go.
Something like that. It's like
something
Gardinier,
like that. So those guys take it on Germany. Germany beat them kind of comfortably in the group stage. I think Germany's a big favorite still. It'll be interesting to see if France can bottle whatever they had in this one. If it is just the defensive effort to slow teams down, but.
Well, and now they've got the more balanced starting lineup. And then I don't mind like Fournier coming off the bench and being able to give you some scoring helps them too. It's not like they have an overwhelming amount of guards. So spreading them out, that makes some sense.
So Team USA is going to face Serbia. Team USA, we haven't even talked about the game really. They destroyed Brazil.
You want to talk about Bruno Caboclo?
Dude, I believe he had back-to-back 30-point games.
Yeah, man. Listen, that guy's a player, man. He may not come back to the NBA because signing for a minimum would probably mean less money for him. But obviously, like, he looked great. Physically. Like, his body looks awesome. Like, he would be a very interesting 5-man.
I mean, I don't know why he wouldn't get a shot somewhere.
It's not getting a shot. It's taking a minimum.
Yeah, he's like 6'10", and he's just fully embraced. In international ball, he's clearly a center, a straight up 5.
Yeah.
Whether or not he has the enough size to be like a 5.
He was with Partizan last year, but he left the team without permission. But he was supposed to be back this year. So
yeah, I think he had like what he had 30 against the US, and then I think he had 33 points and 17 rebounds in their big win over Japan at the end of the group play. So I mean that's got to turn some heads. And of course he was a Grizzly several years ago. I have a team issued calendar of Grizzlies players with their pets. So I have a photo with the accompanying month of Bruno Caboclo of him holding his puppy from like 8 years ago. So Team USA won handily though. Joel Embiid played well in the first half outside of like his first perfunctory post up of the game where he was triple teamed.
Plus 25 in 12 minutes.
Yeah, he was.
And I actually think it was a good move not to play him after that. So
they didn't play him in the second half. I thought it was a straight up, just like, why? Just save him. Save him for the next game.
Hey, Steve Kerr, say what you will about Steve Kerr. He's doing a pretty good job managing these rotations.
Well, what is going to be interesting now is now that we've gotten to the actual games that, are really going to matter. I mean, this game mattered, but you were up by so much, it didn't actually matter. Playing Serbia, like, is it going to be Tatum, who's just not in the rotation? Like, what is the best 5? I think one of the most fun things about this roster, which is it's so talented and so good, is I feel like there's like 10 combinations you can come up with, maybe using like 7 or 8 different players where you're like, that lineup's kind of perfect. So I don't know what they're going to go with. I don't think Embiid's usually going to close, but I think you're probably going to start him against Jokic. I would say my personal opinion would be, don't try to make it a thing early. Like, don't waste possessions on these Jokic versus Embiid or Embiid versus Jokic post-ups. I mean, maybe there's some value in trying to pick up some fouls on Jokic, but I feel like it gets them out of like their rhythm. We're like, our team looks better when we're moving. Yeah.
These are FIBA refs. Embiid's going to fall down. Jokic is going to grab the ball. Serbia is going to run.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen. So I honestly would just say, don't play Embiid against Jokic just so he's not out there flopping around.
Yeah.
If Embiid would stay on his 2 feet for all of the 18 minutes that he plays, I guarantee he would be a plus in the plus minus column. Just stay on your feet. That's it. Get rebounds, play defense, stay on your feet. Don't fall down. Play basketball. That's all I want from Embiid. He did that. He did that yesterday.
Yeah, it was an impressive, again, an impressive stuff from Embiid and the whole team. I mean, just when they lock in, and I guess they're playing teams that they're, such superior advantages at every position, and it's just something. And you see how
Steph Curry's been bad.
Steph's been bad. Yeah, Steph's been not good.
Dominant.
Ant has had some great moments, and then you see just the Drew and the Derek White, and like Bam is like, oh, Bam was a little bit off against Brazil. Who cares? Like, we got AD, we got LeBron, and everybody's just cooking. It's gonna be, I think the next two matchups, Serbia on Thursday, and then the gold medal game, I believe it's on Saturday. I'm expecting Germany, but maybe it's France. We'll see. It's going to be cool to see. Just, I think, beyond the basketball, just seeing who gets to play if the game's close. Because I don't know what the right answer is. Like, I have my preferences, but it'll be fun to see how that game ends up. Let's answer some questions. We have a couple of listener questions about the Olympics, and we'll do that right after this short break.
Any questions?
It is now time for our listener submitted questions. The croissant questioner.
Knock yourself out.
David Smith wants to know, what Olympic sport or athlete has you feeling the most patriotic?
Is Simone Biles the easy one? I mean,
I think Simone Biles is a fine one.
Kind of the easy one. I mean, she's also having so much fun, it seems. And that's maybe part of it.
She grins constantly.
She does, yeah.
And it's wonderful. She's so magnetic and endearing.
Yeah.
What were you do? Before you talk about LeBron, the Simone Biles thing. So I have personal issues with patriotism, and then nationalism, and then how that becomes the root of all problems in the world.
Yes.
And I do cheer for my country at times, but the one thing about Simone Biles, where it feels pure and like it doesn't go to an ugly nationalism, is how much love she apparently has for her competitors. And how it's not like, hey, we're trying to destroy this Brazilian or whatever. She was so happy when the Brazil gymnast won the gold medal for thing, and like,
she has grace.
Yes, grace and sportsmanship, and there's that camaraderie between the competitors. That's what makes me, old man Keith, I tear up a lot at this Olympics, which I don't normally, and it's always like I watch an event, I'm like, that's really cool. And then when I see the competitors hug after, that like some part of my body gives me chills, and then I start like tearing up a little bit. But now, all right, who's your patriotic? Who gets you the most excited?
I mean, LeBron with the flag on the boat.
That was fun.
That was kind of a moment. I don't know, man. I'm not really that guy. But Simone Biles is about as close as I get. I mean, she has been like, if we all were able to present ourselves to the world that way, the rest of the world would have a much better opinion of us.
That's a very good point. The relays are where I feel the most patriotic usually. Maybe it's just the teamwork again, but just like them all working together, how ecstatic they are when they win. But the flip side of that is every now and then another team wins, and how excited
they are. The Dutch team.
I'm talking about that Netherlands girl.
Oh my God. Dude,
that made me cry.
Insane.
I literally started weeping, not like because of like the magnificence of sport. The way those teammates, her teammates, the Dutch team all like went nuts when she came back and won. I was like, it gave me chills. I'm like, that was magical. Also, there was a time, I can't remember, one of the swimming races where the US lost the relay, and I was like, that was kind of amazing. And I feel excited, even though Team USA lost. Also, like the Team USA basketball, the men's team, I cheer for them. Mm-hmm. But then when they're losing, I don't feel any kind of like, I'm not bothered by it. There's been other years where like I felt bad about it. This year, there's basically someone on every opponent that I kind of like, where I'm like, that's pretty cool for so-and-so that this is happening.
This is probably my favorite Team USA team since the Dream Team. Just from a personality standpoint, they got a lot of really good guys on the team.
Magnus, the question master, wants to know, which 2 Olympic events would you remove and which 2 would you add as a replacement?
I mean, this is tricky because, like, couldn't you get rid of a lot of these swimming events? Feels like there's so many of them. So, I mean, maybe you could take out those. Breakdancing is a bit of a weird addition to the Olympics. I mean, I like rock climbing. I think rock climbing is a little bit of a weird sport for the Olympics. I'm not sure. They try these new sports out. I honestly wonder if soccer and basketball haven't sort of, with the prevalence of international competition, if they aren't too big for the Olympics. I don't know.
So that's an interesting thought, whether sports graduate from, because they feel different.
Because like track and field, there's a track and field league, but it's not the same. There's international competition pretty much exclusively.
Yeah. I wouldn't eliminate any track and field events. I wouldn't eliminate any swimming events. Like I'm very comfortable with, all right, you got 100, you got a 50, you got a 200, a 4, like who cares? All of these are different variations. I think they're all fun. I like the addition of these mixed relays where it's 2 men and 2 women.
That's
I also
liked really interesting.
The swimming one was super interesting. So my understanding of the track one was the men all ran against each other, the women all ran against each other. In the swimming one, you could pick where your men and women went. And so it was like, sometimes it was the men swimming against the women. And I thought that was fun. I would eliminate golf. Get out of here.
Golf. Yeah.
Golf's not an Olympic sport. Just, and then like,
although I do believe golf was one of the early ones.
That's fine.
That came back.
I would not be upset if they eliminated a large number of the things that involve judges and scoring systems that aren't like clearly defined feats of like, oh, you did that the fastest. I know gymnastics, this is its thing. So we could leave gymnastics, but there's a lot of other ones where I'm like, I don't get it. I also like, maybe that's breaking, maybe that's skateboarding. Also like, anything with a horse.
Yeah. The horse.
Nope. That's something else.
That is a different sport.
I would try to find, event. I mean, like lots of people rock climb in the world. So I'm like, okay, a lot of people do that. There's no big barrier for entry. A lot of these other sports, I'm like, how many people in the world skeet shoot? Is it that many?
Right.
Well, how many people in the world do a question? How many people in the world do synchronized diving?
You have to have the rich people sports in there.
Yeah.
So that the rich people can go to the Olympics.
I like the ones. Yeah. I like the ones that have a lower barrier of entry. So what? Yeah. All right. So what 2 sports would you replace? Would you put in the Olympics that aren't there?
Again, I think there's too many sports in the Olympics.
Why isn't racquetball in here? Do we have racquetball?
I don't think racquetball is that. I don't know. Someone's going to push to get pickleball in the Olympics.
I would rather have, I'm not even joking.
California for sure.
I would rather have putt golf than actual golf. I'm not kidding.
A home run derby.
Why not a home run derby?
Olympic home run derby. But Shohei Ohtani,
they used to have baseball, right?
Yeah, but baseball shouldn't be an Olympic sport.
I would. Here's the thing. I think we mentioned it before. I put darts in there.
No, I think archery is good. The rifle shooting or gun shooting, not good. Go to your hunt club. I don't know. Darts is an activity. It's not a sport.
If you have,
but it's more of a sport than shooting a gun.
Axe throwing.
It's more of a sport than shooting.
I'm not joking, Dave. The big one for me, and I have to say this to stay true to my roots. That ultimate frisbee. It's a sport. It's an organized sport played by millions. It's a huge sport. There's already big international competitions. Like it would be great for the Olympics because it's not like a major, like you talk about soccer and basketball maybe being too big. There aren't large successful professional leagues. Just like there's, there are some rugby leagues, but maybe it's a little smaller.
If we get Seth Partnow involved, can we pull this off?
I wish he would, but there already are world championships of these things. And like, I feel like it's the same kind of boat. Like we have the rugby. Oh, did you not feel patriotic? I might've felt patriotic regardless of that rugby, the 90-yard touch on the final play of the game. What in the world?
Was that the one where she trucked?
She just truck stick somebody. But then I was like, then I also felt so brokenhearted for the Australian people. We're just like, all you had to do was not let someone get like a 99-yard touchdown run. I know I'm not using the right terms. I'm using American football terms, but like essentially you gave up a Hail Mary on the final play. All you had to do was not do that. And I felt bad.
Australia that's a bad run for Australia blowing.
Yeah.
Games that they should win.
I'm adding ultimate frisbee and darts. Are you going to put your weight firmly behind?
I like those. Yeah. Okay. I like those. Darts actually makes, to me, it's more like archery. Kind of makes some sense. Also, imagine the commentary on Olympic darts.
You know what they're going to probably add? They're probably going to add something stupid like Texas Hold'em. Like Olympics poker.
No, the tech bros can't run the Olympics. So
tech bros about to run everything. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to take away a person's favorite Olympic sport, but also so many of them, I'm like, who does this? Like, nobody. It's so many sports I've never tried in my life. Yeah. The horse and gun people can go somewhere else. Let's have a horse and gun games.
I do have an Olympic take that I think. Can we bring back, like, I want the decathlon to be a huge deal.
Oh, okay.
Right? Dan versus Dave.
Dan and Dave?
Dan and Dave, right? The decathlon, that should be like that guy. We should be like, that's the best athlete in the world.
Dave, can we talk about the triathlon and the E. coli?
Oh, the mayor swims in the river and there are alerts going out all over Paris, places at the time that you can go to the bathroom in the Seine.
Yeah.
The mayor will definitely have to swim through, potentially your cloud of debris. And yet they still had people getting into
So one of the competitors was hospitalized with E. coli from all the poop and could not compete in the triathlon.
They don't have any lakes nearby.
I don't know if this might have been manipulated media and I got deceived. I feel like I saw something about somebody saying they'd been training for the Olympics by not washing their hands for a while to try to build up a little E. coli tolerance. I was like, surely that's not a real thing. That might have been an Apple time, JD Vance on a couch situation.
That sounds like a couch.
But the E. coli situation, your sport. Okay, if we can't find a place for these guys to swim and not get sick, let's maybe come up with it.
I just don't listen. There are lakes. There are other rivers that maybe aren't. So disgusting.
Can we not build an artificial course like the rafting people?
Couldn't they just? Well, that's a whole different thing. Couldn't they just we're gonna do it in the pool?
Yeah.
I mean, there are other options.
Anyway, those were 2 listener submitted questions. The croissant questionnaire. If you want your question to be answered on air, you have to be a Patreon supporter. You can do that at patreon.com/fastbreakbreakfast. You can also get access to a monthly bonus episode. I put a bonus episode up a week ago. So that's available to the Patreon supporters. Also, you want to play fantasy football with me? Our draft is coming up end of the month. This is breaking news. The Fast Break Breakfast fantasy football draft will be on Thursday, August 29th. Dave, have you ever played fantasy football? You're one of those people. You don't do fantasy sports, right?
No, not in a long time. I was in a fantasy baseball league in high school.
Right.
And we carried it over through college. And I mean, I think I was in it for like 10 years. It was a keeper league.
Right.
I drafted Albert Pujols when he was in single A.
There you go.
Amazing. Yeah. Back when he was third baseman, left fielder, which meant he also worked for infield utility spots. It was amazing. Oh my gosh. I ran off 3 very successful seasons playing for the title.
So you walked away on top like John Elway.
Oh yeah.
Proud of you.
Yeah. Only I didn't walk like Elway. I'm not as bow-legged.
Yeah. Anyways, if you want to play fantasy football, I think we will do the first 18 people that sign up and we'll just have a huge league. I don't know if you ever played fantasy football in a league where you actually run out of tight ends and quarterbacks, but we did it and it's fun. 18.
If
there's like a big waiting list, we get up to 24. Fine. I'll split into 2 leagues. But anyways, if you want to play fantasy football, you have to be a Patreon supporter at the $5 a month mark. And I'll post the signups probably later today. Anyways, patreon.com/Fastbreak Brekfast. All right, Dave, it's now time for the awards segment of the program. We're not giving out a gold, silver, or bronze medal. No. We're giving out the International Stackhouse of Pancakes Award for the worst performance in a box score, Olympics edition. All right, Dave, we have a ton of honorable mentions to go through before we get to our 4 nominees. This is for all of the Olympics men's basketball games going back to last Tuesday, not covering 3-on-3. Did you watch any of the 3-on-3?
Nah.
Team USA men trash.
Well,
the women did okay. Watching that though, I mean, I do feel like if there was any Olympic sport I'm okay at, it's 3-on-3 basketball.
The thing is,
I don't have to run down the court. What?
Yeah, we have like 3-on-3 players. I don't understand why is Jimmer Fredette playing?
Why is Jamal Crawford not playing? The women's team didn't even take a 3, basically, the game I watched. And the 3s are worth 2. It's legit. They're playing 1s and 2s. All you have to do is not put the other team in the bonus because then you get 2 free throws. Messed up sport. Anyways.
What did they play to? 21 or
15? It's a messed up sport.
Steph Curry should be our 3-on-3 captain for the 2028 Olympics.
Man, just did you see the big 3? The big 3 actually extended an invitation to the Dutch team, which won the men's 3-on-3.
Nice.
That said, hey, let's play. Winner gets
awesome. See,
all expenses paid.
Awesome.
$150,000 to the winner.
That's sports.
That's sports. I love it.
Nice job, Ice Cube.
Oh, by the way, Big 3 is coming to Nashville on Sunday. I'm not sure I got my credentials. I got to check my spam filter. I just forgot about this. Anyways, honorable mentions: International Stackhouse of Pancakes. Frank Ntilikina 0-for-4. Rudy Fernandez 0-for-5 in his final basketball game. Vitor Benite, Jose Alvarado, Andrew Nembhard, Frank Ntilikina, and Yuki Tagashi all 1-for-6. Patty Mills, Wembanyama both went 2-for-10. Leo Mendel 2-for-12. Jordan Howard of Puerto Rico 3-for-14. Mario Shayak 4-for-15. Evan Fournier 5-for-18. Bogdan Bogdanovic and Yuta Watanabe 6-for-17. Yuki Kawamura 7-for-19. Those were just the honorable mentions from the past week. Our 4 nominees, Dave. And guess what? We're going to do blind nominations. I'm not going to give you the names. I am merely going to say player A, player B, player C, and player D. So you're going to have to pay attention. All right, Dave. Player A. 1-for-9, 3 points, 4 assists, 1 rebound, 1 turnover, 4 personal fouls. Player B. 3-for-13, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 steal, 3 turnovers, 2 personal fouls. Player C, 1-for-9, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 turnovers, 4 personal fouls. Player D, 6-for-21, 17 points, no assists, 3 rebounds, 2 steals, no turnovers, 3 personal fouls. I'll run through them again. Player A, well, for our listeners.
Sure.
I know you have the mind of it's a steel trap.
I would
player A, 1-for-9, 3 points, 4 assists. Player B, 3-for-13, 7 points, 5 rebounds. Player C, 1-for-9, 2 points, 2 steals. Player D, 6-for-21, 17 points, 0 assists, 0 turnovers. Did you have one that called out to you?
Yeah, I'm going player C.
Player C. Okay. Why did player C stand out more than player A, B, or players A, B, and D?
Bad shooting, bad fouls, bad turnovers.
It's all right. It's true. 2 turnovers, 4 personal fouls. Part of me feels player A. Also with the 4 turnovers or 4 personal fouls, more fouls. Well, same number of fouls, 1 more point, more assists is better. All right, you're right. Player C is better. Player B, I throw it out. 3 for 13, not that big of a deal. 6 for 21. All right, player D. Let's go to player C, player D. Player C, 1 for 9, 2 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 turnovers, 4 personal fouls. Player D, 6 for 21. Big volume, but did score 17 points.
Right.
3 rebounds, 0 assists, 2 steals, 0 turnovers, 3 personal fouls. I'm a little moved by the 21 field goal attempts and no assists. I also like the no turnovers, but of course, if you never pass, you can't turn the ball over.
Right.
I'm fine with player C. The reveal, Dave. Player C is Dylan Brooks. Congratulations. Congratulations, Dylan Brooks, on winning the International Olympics International Stackhouse the Pancakes Award.
Oh, he's
Player
terrible.
A, 1 for 9, 3 points was Steph Curry. Player B, 3 for 13, 7 points, 5 rebounds, 1 steal, 3 turnovers was Jamal Murray. And then player D, Mariel Shayok of South Sudan, getting them shots up. 6 for 21, 17 points, no assists, no turnovers. Congratulations, Dylan Brooks. Par fadeaway, Dave, to wrap up. Any thoughts on Lauri Markkanen? I mean, have none, I guess. He signed his extension, so he can't be traded this year, which honestly, great. Fantastic.
Cool. I mean, you know what I like? I don't like trades, so I'm pumped that he's sticking around in Utah. It's a weird scene, though. I'm very curious what Utah's trying to do. I mean, you can bottom out with Lauri Markkanen.
Yep.
But weird.
I mean, how they're going
to trade him next summer?
Are they going to trade Colin Sexton this year? Jordan Clarkson kind of tailed off last year, I believe. Maybe it was on purpose. They told him to. I don't know. I mean,
it's a weird scene. I'm just surprised that they're keeping him. Not that they shouldn't want him. He's a good player, but they clearly don't want to be good this year. So it's
I mean, what are they going to do? What if Keontae George and Isaiah Collier are good?
Okay.
If those guys are good and you get solid guard play and then you have a good coach and then you have Lauri Markkanen,
then
you have a
bunch of the play and
then all of a sudden you're like in that, depending on injuries to people, you're in that 7 through 11 race. I don't know. Maybe they're just going to do the same thing.
Maybe
they're going to put Lauri Markkanen on the Jerry Grant training routine.
They're going to be on the 6 seed train.
Yeah, where it's like, listen, we're going to play hard for a few months, and then come late March, we'll shut it down. Go take a vacation. I don't know. I mean, part of me likes it that there's just no trade speculation around him. I mean, it's just there's so many teams now where like the Pelicans. I feel like the Pelicans are in a weird situation. They have Brandon.
What are they going to do with Brandon Ingram?
They have Brandon Ingram, and what can you do?
They still don't have a center.
They have German national Daniel Tice. He's about to rip up Joel Embiid. He's about to march through Victor Wembanyama and Joel Embiid.
You think Germany for the gold? Is that?
Let's see what the spread is. I think Germany 4.5 point favorites against France. Yeah, I might wager on that one. I feel like they're gonna be the favorite there. Yeah, I don't know. Lauri Markkanen, very good player. It's going to be it might, in retrospect, or we're going to be like Lauri Markkanen's best 3 years were in 2023, 2024, and 2025, where his team made no effort to compete. And it's like, oh well, that's
good for him.
What the money's for.
That's
anyways, Dave, pleasure as always coming on. Listeners, if you guys want to support the show and also play fantasy football or fantasy basketball when the time comes, you got to be a Patreon supporter, patreon.com/Fastbreak Brekfast. Feel free to reach out to me on Twitter if you have any questions about that. Anyways, you guys are the best. Thanks for listening. And remember, breakfast is the most important thing.
Yeah, never apologize for being G&G. Fastbreak break, man. You understand?
I will remember.